For over 2,000 years, the Great Wall of China has been painted as one thing, a defensive barrier against invading armies from the north. But here's what most people don't know. The wall was almost never used for actual combat. So why did China's emperors spend centuries and millions of lives building something that barely worked as a weapon? The real reason will surprise you. But first, we have to understand what every history textbook gets wrong. When you picture the Great Wall, you imagine armies clashing, soldiers defending against hordes of invaders. It seems logical. Of course you'd build a wall to stop armies. But here's the problem with that logic. Armies don't actually break through walls. They go around them. They tunnel under them. They wait until supply lines fail. In fact, historians have found almost zero evidence of major defensive battles fought on the wall itself. If the wall was built to stop invasions, it failed spectacularly. Barbarian forces breached it repeatedly. The Mongols didn't even bother breaking through. They simply rode past it. So, if not defense, then what? The answer lies in understanding the real enemy, not armies, but chaos. And this is where the story becomes far more interesting than a simple military barrier. The wall was built for 3 hidden reasons that had nothing to do with stopping invasions. They had everything to do with controlling an empire. The wall created checkpoints. Every merchant, every caravan, every trader moving silks, spices, and goods along the Silk Road had to pass through imperial gates. This meant one thing: taxation. The wall turned trade routes into revenue streams. Emperors weren't protecting against arrows. They were collecting tolls. The wall was a 13,000-mile toll booth. A wall sends a message. This is us. That is them. It creates a boundary between civilization and wilderness, between order and chaos. For a fractured empire of 100 million people speaking different languages and dialects, the wall was a symbol that unified identity. You were inside the wall. You were Chinese. This psychological boundary mattered more than any military one. Nomadic groups moved seasonally across grasslands. China's emperors needed to prevent mass migration of these groups into Chinese territory, not because of invasion, but because of assimilation. Large populations moving into settled lands meant instability. The wall funneled migration into controlled channels and designated areas, making it manageable. When you realize the wall was about economics, identity, and population management, suddenly it makes perfect sense why it was built and why it lasted 2,000 years. But there's one more detail that proves this interpretation is correct. The wall's design reveals its true purpose. Meant to stop armies, you'd expect it to be uniformly high, thick, and impenetrable. But it isn't. Some sections are 30 feet tall. Others are just 10 feet. Some areas are reinforced with brick and stone. Others are rammed earth that crumbles easily. This inconsistency would be a catastrophic failure for military defense, but it's perfect for checkpoints and trade control. The wall didn't need to stop an army. It needed to slow merchants enough to stop at checkpoints. It needed to be visible enough to establish borders, and it needed to be impressive enough to project power. The Great Wall of China teaches us something profound. The most powerful structures aren't built to destroy enemies. They're built to control movement, manage information, and shape identity. For 2,000 years, it did all 3. And that's not a defensive wall. That's a work of genius.